different play styles and everything. But as long as I've been doing this here, over 3 years now, I've watched a lot of Heroes of Newer, to say the least. I can safely say that what we've been seeing here, even these last couple of weeks in Heroes of Newer, the competitive farm from these top teams, specifically State Green and tdM, it's been some of the most impressive play ever. I mean, you could just tell that the team support you as far as, when somebody gets initiated, the team support's there, and then they counter-initiate. The fact that we've had so many fights, especially with these two teams again, where only 1 or 2 heroes die in total, and the fight seems like it lasts like 30 seconds. It's pretty crazy. So
I know
it. Speaks for itself. Anyways, we are now in the next game. So let's do it, Trout. Let's jump into what is going to be game number 3 here. We got Trademark Esports taking on Stay Green. Let's take a look. Once again, this is the grand finals. For some reason, you don't know that yet and you're tuning in. It says it all over your screen, but just to reiterate, grand finals here. We got cycle number 5 from the Diamond Division. tdM on the Legion side, Stay Green on the Hellborn side. Blind Band's Tempest Fade coming out, and then Wild Soul Moon Queen from Stay Green. So this time, no Draconis ban. I know that Stay Green's done that twice now, the first 2 games. So we'll see, maybe that becomes an issue here. But Keeper of the Forest, the first lock, followed by Ophelia, Master of Arms. Seems like we've seen this before.
Yeah.
But Master of Arms, Ophelia, again, that's that combination right there that, especially we talked about in the OTP Stay Green series earlier on, Trelf. So. Yeah,
absolutely. Now Minots plays a fantastic jungle, and I haven't seen him play I haven't seen him play Ophelia that much, but I am curious to see if he wants to prioritize that here in this lineup because MOA is there, and you do not want to give not only any team, but especially SG, a team that loves to play this MOA Ophelia combination. They're so on par with these global ultimates and these global defensive mechanisms. So picking up Keeper first, which was probably their plan to start.
That's a good point.
Might have to change it up here right now.
Great point. I mean, again, that goes just back to the fact that really both of these captains here, Minots and Swinnamelons, really 2 of the best, if not even the best out there right now in the competitive scene. I mean, they just know they know this game so well. They do their research. Obviously, plenty of experience for both these teams, let alone the captains. And it seems like they're getting that true idea of how lockpick is really supposed to work. So. Yeah, the fact that, exactly, I mean, you said it really well, so I'm not even going to try to reiterate it, but anyways, you get the point. Torturer, Aluna, the final comment, a couple of locks for tdM, and then Swinnamelon still thinking about what's going to be the final lock, and actually it is going to be Defiler. Something tells me that is a little bit more of a throwaway lock right there. I mean, granted, there was... Speaking of tdM, we got the Fire Rises, TFR. They did play Defiler against tdM. And what was it, Game 3 at the very first round of the cycle, remember? And honestly, TFR even should have won that game with Defiler. They really had the chances. And again, that could have really changed things in this whole bracket here. But ultimately, tdM won the series 2-1, thus ultimately getting them here. So.
Yeah, it sure would be fun to see Defiler, that's for sure. And again, Defiler is a hero that you really have to center a lineup around her. And you can't do kind of split farming, in my opinion, or split pushing. It just needs to be around her. Pretty much exactly how SG played it last game.
Mm-hmm.
Not that last game was really centered around one hero, but that's exactly how you would play it. You get your core items, and you start pushing up as 5. Kind of like how you play Zephyr, to be honest.
Yeah. So, again, the chances of seeing her might be pretty grim, but she's in the lock pool, so you never know. Banning phase finishing up, and actually, okay, so I talked about that, and the no Draconis blind ban this time around. It is actually final banned by Stay Green there. Bubble, Zephyr, Tundra, Empath, Pebbles, and Draconis. tdM not thinking too much about that one. First pick, snap pick, Wretched Hag coming out here. Again, they just they value the way Zai plays it, and occasionally with Noob G. Of course, depending on how the lineup is shaping up. So, gonna go with the snap pick, Wretched Hag. Now you look back at Stay Green and what their options are. I mean, to me, standing out is well, the Silhouette perhaps. I mean, he's still, especially with that Draconis Moon Queen being banned. I mean, the Silhouette option always there. And on top of that, the lock pool. Granted, there's a Master of Arms. Silhouette's a sound option too. So,
I think Deadwood for sure will get picked up here.
Oh yeah, true.
And, I mean, they could go Deadwood Engineer. Oh, Rally. Yeah, they do love Rally as well, and they still have room to pick up that Deadwood if they want to. And It's just a question of now how are they going to land a suicide, if any. Demented Shaman Balfagor. Interesting.
Trademark Esports. How about that? Speaking of push, they say you got pushed last game. Well, look at our push. Demented Shaman Balfagor. Now, whether they go Ophelia or Defiler, and holy crap, I mean, could we maybe see a Defiler now? Now that I'm looking at it. I mean, if you are going to go push, Defiler definitely is pretty good for that. So that would be cool. But
well, it'd be even cooler just the fact that SG was the one that locked him up.
Yeah, exactly. That's again, you still got a Torture and Ophelia, a Keeper. I mean, plenty of good heroes other than the Defiler, even for push. So it's still probably pretty rare. But
I think if you're going for push,
alive.
I think tdM has to go Ophelia here first over Keeper. Like, yeah, Keeper pushes well, but I think, honestly, Ophelia just pushes a little bit better early on. And when you're talking about pushing early on, like, that's Balfagor DS for you. Like, they will push early.
Well, when you pick up that combination, when you pick up DS Balfagor, just like DS Zephyr, really, it does kind of throw the red flag of we're going to group up and push earlier on. Whether it's just those two, whether it's, them and a couple others, most likely it ends up being the whole team. So,
yeah.
You see Gemini being right-clicked there from Zai. That ain't going to happen. Ophelia, though, is that first pick, so sure enough, as expected. But now for State Green, how do they respond to this? You already got your Deadwood Rally Master of, or not a Master of Arms, your Engineer there. They could go Master of Arms. But actually, how are they going to do this? They could go...
Well... I feel like, honestly, this is one of those situations, and there are very few of them where you have to pick up Master of Arms so that the other team doesn't get him. Because right now, tdM is looking for their last solo hero, and they do go Keeper the Forest and Master of Arms. Okay. So I'm wondering if we're going to see... Okay, I like Torture a lot, actually. I mean, Defiler could still work there, but I just think Torture is better in this instance as a solo. Probably a solo mid. Or we could actually see... yeah, it doesn't matter, but... I'm very curious as to how SG is going to do this. Are they going to go the offlane Keeper with two different dual lanes? It doesn't look like it because Slicks is actually playing the MOA. So I think it's going to be offlane Rally. Keizu is playing that.
Interesting. Now, I mean, so we have stressed specifically for Rally how in a 1 vs 2 mid matchup, he by all means can handle his own and is actually very good at it. What do you think of him being in that suicide role? Is that still a lane that he could actually work somewhat well in, or is it maybe not gonna? Is this really a case of, well, we kind of had, it's just how we're gonna have to have it work out? I don't know.
Well, I mean, they could have done a second support MOA and done two different dual lanes, which actually would have been really strong. But the thing about this is, who's playing the heroes really dictates which lane they're going to go to.
Yep.
Like if I saw MOA being played by like Keizu or even Z Freak, and then well, Chessie's still probably if I saw like Keeper the Forest being played by Keizu and then Chessie playing the MOA, I would think, okay, it's going to be two different dual lanes with an offlane Keeper. But in this instance, it's pretty obvious what they're doing. Now, with that being said, you can pit up some lane assignments for tdM that are going to be favorable to you, I think. So if you had like Wretched Hag in your short lane, he's going to do just fine against that suicide Rally.
Yeah. Oh, going to sit in a pause here to start things off in game number 3. The suspense we'll have to keep with us just a little bit longer here to see how this game will start off now. Again, though, the Balfagor pickup going to be played by Limp here for Trademark Esports. No doubt that is a case of tdM of that ain't the hero we see too often, but when you do, he's that niche hero, as we put it, where you group up and push with him. The fact that they have an Ophelia on top of that. You mentioned the Torture. You really like the Torture pick, who's going to be played by Noob G here. Obviously, he can synergize well with the impalements and kind of just being that presence as well with a lot of the AoE damage. Yeah, powerful group up and push lineup over here on tdM. So. Now, again, but the first thing you kind of look at when you're going up against push is how much creep control you got here on the Hellborn side as far as creep clearing, I should say. And there is plenty. I mean, you got the Engineer, Master of Arms, Deadwood, all fantastic for those situations. So, State Green definitely, again, when you see the DS Balfagor, not that this is an expert thing by any means, but they did a good job of preparing for that, you could say, as far as the push that it will inevitably come here by tdM. But now, will they be able to stop it?
tdM's a team that really rarely likes to man up. They almost, if there's an instance where they could, and this is definitely one of those, where you could have the DS Balfagor top and Ophelia also to assist against also a passive jungler and Keeper the Forest, you could easily do it. But they feel so much more comfortable running a suicide with Zai up there, that he's almost inevitably going to be playing that off-lane role. So he's going up there, he's rushing up there, he has that ward of sight to place to block the pole camp. And they're going to play it safe. They want probably Noobji mid, and then the dual lane bottom. And if it is going up against Keizu playing that off-lane rally, they certainly will push pretty fast. Like, there's not really much he can do to counter push. If it is anything, it's the compel, but that you don't want to use that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. All right, so again, gonna keep the suspense here just a little bit longer. That was paused by Stay Green, it looks like. So as soon as they get whatever they are figured out, as again, that's there, he's wondering the same. So I would assume that tdM is good to go. But as soon as State Green is, then we will move on here. You know, I have heard more and more about this. You know, with these pauses here at the beginning, I know we've talked about it a little bit in the past, how it seems like, you know, a bathroom pause, if anything, which is fine. But I've also, you know, heard that a lot of teams will do this simply for just strategy pauses. I mean, what they call strat pause, where you use this a little bit of pause time, a couple of minutes, 2-3 minutes, a little bit longer to kind of determine how you're ultimately going to lane things. And
yeah,
you know, with a pickup like Valfcore, maybe that does throw a curveball, and so you kind of wonder if that ultimately maybe what's going on here. But
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised at all. And
it's one of those things you can't really sit here and say you can't do that though, because I don't know.
You don't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Like someone could be having some major bathroom problems or something, and
wouldn't want to have that.
No, we wouldn't. But maybe they're probably, if that is the case, they're thinking hard about where is Balfagor actually going to lane, because that's going to dictate a lot of what SG wants to do.
Might not get a response, if anything. Stay Green still has yet to even respond to Trademark Esports. So again, clearly something is going on though, but hopefully not much longer. So. Here we are, 2-1 series lead in favor of tdM here in this best out of 5. So yet again, Stay Green trying to stay alive and force what would be a final game next. Wouldn't that set up beautifully? No matter what happens, I mean, let's be honest, it's going to be a great finish here. And again, Trout being your last cast, so definitely it's already been fun. I'm sure it will continue to be. Tomorrow though, while we are in the pause here, once again to reiterate, got plenty of viewers also tuning in to know that. Be sure you start tuning in tomorrow, as well as GSL. That whole GSL qualifiers will start tomorrow, and of course that's what I'm talking about is the what ultimately really is the Thailand qualifiers. And I know a lot of these teams are really, because that is a big deal, a chance to compete for the Thailand event, which the main event is held in late March in Thailand, but 2 North American European teams actually will eventually fly out to Thailand after they qualify through this qualifier next week and then in 2 weeks from now to compete for a $60,000 prize pool. Again, you get to go to Thailand. You get a chance to compete for a lot of money against some of the best teams in the world from all of Southeast Asia. I've heard 2 teams from China are going to be there as well, which is actually it's really cool to hear that, you know, get a scene that we've never seen anything from before. So. And HoNcast, we are going to be there ourselves, so it's going to be a lot of fun, big event. The qualifiers, again, for that start tomorrow, and they'll be happening every day all the way to Thursday, where it's a 16-team best out of 3 16-team best out of 3 series, single elimination all the way through. So,
yeah.
What's up?
Oh, no, I just think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be awesome. You know, Minos does bring a good point. At first, I'm thinking, okay, Minos, get off their case, just pausing. But he does bring up a very good point. They've actually been paused for over 6 minutes now, which means if you actually did look at the stream, you would have information that otherwise you would not have. And even just the way that Slicks is positioning, Azai is positioning his hero, that's going to give a very easy tell about what Minos wants, or what tdM is going to do with the lanes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything is happening, but I'm just saying. That needs to be looked at, because that's a very valid point.
It is. Again, that's where that fine line comes in. It's like, what if a player just ultimately is having real life issues, and you know it can happen. But I do agree with you. It's just one of those kind of unfortunate things that you just hope the teams would be mannered enough not to not to go through that. Well, again, you can argue about that for days for sure, but in the end, you know, what's done is done. Here we are moving into this game now, coming out of the pause. You know, if anything, I will say Stay Green at the very least. You should at least say why you're paused, I think. I mean, you should at least give a reason to be fair, and they never gave one throughout all of that. So, you know, maybe that does add to a little bit of the fishiness, as you could say. But anyways,
and again, I'm not calling them out
Yeah.
for doing it. I'm just saying that if they did want to, it was available because they clearly could have gone back and looked. But
yeah.
the likelihood of that actually happening is pretty low. I don't think that these teams would do that to each other because it really takes away from yourself. Like, not so much of being able to have the advantage in the game, but just like your integrity in general. But and nonetheless, just one thing I wanted to bring up. So
Yeah.
anyway, we do have it finally unpaused here. It does look like we are going to see that Balfagor in the short lane. Dual lane mid, and this is, I think, the lanes that were going to happen regardless.
Yeah,
the MOA
that's
engineer mid, your offlane rally, and then Deadwood to solo top.
Yeah, so again, kind of in that sense too. To be fair, it's really would it have been anything different? Probably not. So, anyways, it is what it is. Like I said, we're moving on now with game number 3. Rally, sure enough, is in that suicide roll, and well, we are going to have a pause coming out here now from Trademark Esports actually. So,
oh, the irony.
Yeah, exactly. Balfagor, and so you see Fitske actually disconnecting right there. Apparently he DC'd. Fitske, of course, playing the Dimension Shaman right here. But yeah, I'm very curious to see how this rally actually performs, being in the suicide lane. Now, Balfagor is going to tank this creep wave. Obviously, Keeper of the Forest did a good job of, as always, blocking the, well, I guess not even blocking, really pulling the creeps here at the bottom lane. So we'll see how much tanking Limp does, and how much lane control ultimately comes of this. But don't expect Rally to have the best time down here. I'm sure Demented Shaman's going to be all over harassing him once he's back into the game, that is. Middle matchup, Torturer against your Master of Arms Engineer. Could you possibly see this Torturer, maybe, or not Torturer, but Demented Shaman transitioning to the middle lane, actually, to pair up with this Torturer?
I don't think you want to. I think you want to get lots of farm up on the Limp, stay in that lane, and then when you can time a push with, say, like 2 minions from Ophelia once she hits level 5, to about the same time, hopefully, that you have that wave with the catapult. Time that push, get that tower down really, really quickly. You could almost even just force it as fast as you can, possibly in this lane, because you have the heal bomb plus the Balfagor minions. So I'm very curious to see when exactly they do decide to push. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't think that Demented Shaman should really transfer.
Yeah. So expect Noob G here playing this Torturer to have a fairly difficult time as far as lane presence goes, but at the same time, he has his long range abilities. Granted, he hasn't leveled anything up yet, and actually, that actually does bring up an interesting point with Torturer, where sure he can bring a lot to the table in terms of a push strategy with something like an Impalement here, but do you think Torturer should and will he level up Impalement, or do you think he's going to go to kind of a different build, not really looking for Impalement to push with the team?
Right, let's get it
I think he'll probably go for a different build, but if he goes for Impalement, I see the reasoning behind it.
So, Noob G, again, nothing actually leveled up just yet. May just go to stats build, who knows? No, just probably waiting, more than likely, but trying to position himself to get a couple of creep kills there at least.
Get some good last hits early on.
Yeah, what is he at? 1-1? Yeah, he's got a couple in there. Balfagor did tank the creep wave all the way till his eventually came, so good job from Limp right there. And again, he's got those trees. Doesn't really need to be the most concerned about Rally necessarily going for a kill by any means. And so he's not that worried about losing a little bit of life right there. But you do see both of the lanes coming together right there. And again, it seems like it worked out pretty well for Balfagor in the end. Dimension Shaman not really harassing Rally, though. He is more so worrying about pulling immediately. Again, to do that right here, actually. Again, no ward of sight being there, so has the free reign to do a double stack pull right off the bat, and that should set up some great lane positioning for this Balfagor, of course, here at the bottom lane.
I believe this is the second time in this series that SG has only put out one ward. They only have the ward above mid, actually, where it's spotting out the top rune, but nothing else. Like, no ward is even on anybody else. So
yeah, that's true. I definitely think you're right. I remember we talked about that before. So Master of Arms, he will have a good time here in the middle lane, as he already is starting to. Of course, Slicks once again playing this MOA. Plays it pretty damn well. Keeper of the Forest, doing his thing in the jungle, and continuing to farm there, as is Ophelia, for the matter. Ophelia currently with the Vagabond leader. Rally, though, going to protect the bottom rune, which happens to be a double damage rune, actually. So good job by Keizu. Yeah, Keizu playing that Rally, and at least picking up the DD rune and just kind of having it's his time roaming around a little bit, because he ain't doing anything here at the bottom lane. If anything, going to try to gank middle, but he did just walk right past a ward of sight. So, and as you see, Noob G is like, "You're not ganking me, buddy." He's just going to sit beyond the tower, and he will be fine. So I definitely expect fairly passive start here for sure. But no doubt it will start to pick up, I think it's safe to say, especially more so on the Legion side with their push. But we'll see when that time comes. Deadwood versus Wretched Hag, by the way. I mean, do you have any take on this matchup up here at the top lane?
It's basically what's happening right now. Deadwood's going to take a lot of harass, but he's going to get every CS. So if you see him early on, 17-7, but Zai might go for a kill here. No, he's not going to. Deadwood's just a little bit too tanky, at least at this moment. But yeah, it's basically this. Deadwood's going to have a much better time in CS early on, and Wretched Hag will be able to apply lots of pressure to him. If Deadwood gets flown out some region right away, though, that's when it'll start to be a much easier lane for him. What do you I think he has a bottle. No, he's just got some health potions and maybe some tree eaters right there to just stay in the lane as long as possible. Because once Deadwood hits level 6, it's a pretty damn easy kill onto Wretched Hag. Yeah,
he did actually cancel a health potion right there. Granted, Hag got a lot of it off, but canceled the health potion with the log right there at the very end. Now falling back to the lane, but he has that regen coming like you were talking about. Keeper the Force also getting a little bit of regen himself. Working towards what I'm sure could be an early Ring of Sorcery. Nice dodge right there on the keg stun coming out from Noob G, able to kind of sidestep that keg stun. Coming up from Z-Frick, of course, playing the Engineer. Master of Arms was also charging in, ready to combo. But again, Noob G with a dodge, able to survive. Balfagor continuing to have a dandy time down here. He is the top farm in the game by quite a bit, actually. Now at 367 gold per minute. So Limp doing a great job down here of maximizing his creep farm, 26-8. And again, when you're free farming, though, the best players will definitely take advantage of that. So expect him. I'm actually kind of interested to see which route he goes. You know, maybe something like an early play to Greaves and the Helm of the Black Legion. I guess you could kind of assume.
Well, it's kind of fun because there's no real set build on Balfagor because we just simply don't see this hero played that often to be like, oh yeah, well he's gonna go for the Helm of the Black Legion, and then the play agrees right after that. Like, we don't know necessarily what players will do. That's why to see heroes like this is very fun.
Well, it is going to be played at Greaves, apparently, for his first item now being delivered to him. So,
and also right on cue, too. I said, like, they start grouping up when Ophelia has those 2 creeps. They don't have the catapult yet. I don't think that wave has that come out yet? I'm so bad with the timings with that. I need to get better at that and do my homework. But it should be coming out, I believe, this next wave. And they're pushing this right on cue. Ophelia 2 creeps, and they'll be good to go.
Yeah, the Ballista is actually just about dead, but still assisting nonetheless. There's a plate of Greaves use right there. Coming out from Balfagor. This tower's going to fall. Rally kind of just standing here in view. He's like, well, my tower's dead. Yep. And KZ would just fall back. So, as expected, 5-minute tower push coming out here from Trademark Esports. Now, you do see Stay Green. They're kind of pushing the top end in the meantime. Keeper the Force up here with Deadwood, so the double tree strat coming into play. Here comes Master of Arms and Engineer, though. We could see some resistance put up here from Stay Green. Goo's going to be put down. Are there maybe going to be any ports here? Rally's level 3 now. Here's a port. The stun already in the Balfagor. There's a Capella top of that. Demoralizing Roar coming out. Deadwood joining the party. He has a fucking punch. Here's the hell on Newerth, though, coming out, but it's not going to matter. Still get the kill. Now, the tower did fall in favor of tdM, so at least they got that. But Fitzke looks like he also is going to be picked off as the keg stun connects. So Stay Green, definitely a solid stand there. But tower kill in favor of tdM at least.
Yeah, they get the tower kill, but you got 2 hero kills and the Bloodlust for SG. I think, honestly, that was an okay trade. Like, you could expect a lot of these tower pushes to be happening early on, so if you can at least get something from it, then I think that's fine.
True.
What I would like to see, though, teams do, specifically tdM, or what I would have rather had seen from them, is a ward placed here to the left of the Hellborn Agents. Because normally when you're pushing right here to the 2nd tier tower, if you're going to see resistance, it's going to come from the mid lane. So being able to see that and spot that out with a ward right there, which would also spot out the rune bottom in the bottom river, I think would be very effective. But they didn't have that, and they got a little bit flanked right there. But yes, you're right, they did still get credit for the tower kill, but the experience is actually even. And the gold lead isn't really that high for them.
Yeah, 1700 gold lead, not bad, but yeah, exactly. Especially, it goes to the logic of you're expecting to push towers here, so you got to keep that in mind. When it comes to the leads and whatnot here for Trademark Esports specifically. But Wretched Hag, she's putting a little bit of pressure herself here at the top lane, but will have to fall back as Deadwood is making his way back up there. Again, he was obviously a big part of that bottom fight, and he's the one. Did he get the Bloodlust kill? I believe he did, yeah. Yes, he did, actually. So Swinnemon's with that, in fact, he is now the top farmer of the game himself, 355 gold per minute. And he is back here at the top side. So sure, Zai was actually able to get quite a bit of farm himself, and actually he is nearing 300 GPM himself. Again, tower kills obviously helping with that, but good news to see there. And to answer my question I had earlier about Torture, answer myself, Torturer is not going the impalement whatsoever. He actually goes the level 3 chain reactions into Agonizing Bonds. So focusing on those before even touching the impalement here. As he actually has a Neophyte's already picked up. Neophyte's book, that is, already picked up. So perhaps that early tablet could come out for him.
Now, one of the reasons to level up Chain Reaction, too, is I believe the radius gets bigger and the stun duration does scale as you level it up. Keep the Forest coming around here with an Invis. We could see a huge collapse onto Balfagor. No, he didn't open up. Ooh. I feel like he could have done that when Balfagor was up much higher than that. Huh, interesting. Yeah, kind of wasting a little bit of time right there.
Yeah, it definitely is a case of we are right next to a tower. It is Balfagor, who is already pretty tanky, so I can kind of see that choice. But
I don't know. I feel like when he could have ulted, he would have been so far up as to like the middle of that river. And if you ult with the green goo on you the entire time and then engineer spells, which he is level 5, that turret does a lot of damage at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I would have gone for it, but he wants to take the more conservative route, and that's always okay too, because it is one of those high risk, high reward situations. So maybe he just didn't want to take the risk.
Yeah, didn't take the risk. He is now up here at the top lane again, joining his brother in the tree that is Chessie joining Swindlemelons. And going to continue to try to pressure this top lane. Now Zion Wretched Hack has, again, his farm is actually pretty solid, 300 gold per minute here on Zai. So actually looking very good when you look at it that way. Tower going to be pressured though. Will we see anything come out from tdM? Maybe some counter themselves. Limp actually dropping his hatchet right there. I'm kind of curious what that is about. It looks like he is going to Helm with Black Legion, by the way. Maybe he's just dropping it, anticipating to have that delivered. But anyways, top tower is going to be pushed successfully. Pending a Wretched Hack deny here. Nope, we ain't even going to go for it. So the top tower falling. Here's the middle tower push, though. Catman champion as well as a double Minotaur. A lot of ports coming in. Ophelia's being locked down, actually. That's here in a lot of trouble. Balfagor to the party. The root coming out. Balfagor can't get the hell anywhere off. Nothing just yet. Arcane, or the Unbreakable going on top of him. He still has a 100 charge ultimate actually to use. Here comes Torture. Are we going to see it? Yes, there's it's garbage day, he says. In comes Wretched Hack with the Bat Blast. In the meantime, Keeper of the Force dropping quickly. Rally's trying to survive. Compel forward, stunning them. And now he is on the run. Keeper of the Force will go down. Rally's ticking down. Engineer trying to pour it out. And yes, Z-Freak will be successful. But Rally's going to be picked up. And Trademark Esports will finish that fight pretty strong in their favor there.
Yeah, this is just the composition coming out. The heals, the 3 heals now, really, plus the tanky hero that has that massive push. And they're doing this, honestly, I mean, SG's trying to do this as best as they can, but they're doing it just a little bit late. I feel like they're waiting way too long for that tower damage to get just way too low. They think they need to be a little bit quicker, or just dodge it. Like, they have 2 options. Either you get there with everybody, you defend that tower, and you try to go for a team fight, or you just dodge it. And they were kind of stuck a little bit in between. Yeah. And obviously, tdM got a huge exchange out of that.
Yeah, and you look at the gold lead. I mean, this is only 10.5 minutes in. We're already at a 5,100 gold lead here for Trademark Esports, and about a 3,300 experience lead. So tdM taking advantage, as you would expect with this lineup here, of the push power that they have earlier on especially, and it worked out beautifully. The Helm of the Black Legion on the Balfagor, as you talked about. I mean, no, so he really is now that tanky presence. Talbot of Command finished on Torturer. Ophelia has that Astrolabe, of course, on top of everything else. So again, these core items really coming out here early on. Then you got Zai, who's got that Grave Locket on top of his first Arcana. So he is well in the works for what you can safely assume will be a Hellflower. So the bottom lane cleared out with 2 towers, the middle lane cleared out. Guess what's next? The top lane, and Trademark Esports already heading up there. We'll see again. You just put it, stay green. Will they defend? All 5 need to be there. If so, if not, just counter push. We'll see what Stay Green decides here.
It needs to be definitely counter push, and they need to be pushing this right away. So already you see them pushing out mid, pushing out bottom. Here comes Zai, though, with the setup. He's saying, I don't want to be up there pushing with you. I want to be able to set something up, so maybe we can get a tower kill at the top, because it will drop fast. And then actually here comes more setup. They should maybe see this TP coming out right now.
I think they did.
But they're going to have to go right now. There's what TP coming out. Here we go.
There's a chain reaction missing. Rod Grasp hit a couple of heroes right there, actually. That could be the saving grace. Keep it the Force, Nature's Veil. And yes, he'll be fine. So only the 3 ported back, though. They are still easily going to get that top tower push. Middle lane in the meantime being counter pushed. Keep it the Force sitting on top, but he runs right over Revelation at half-life. Chessie's in a lot of trouble. He will root, but he just falls just like that. So that was a case of he thought he was being crafty, and well, Trademark Esport got the best of him there. So again, middle tower going down for Stay Green. But the top tower fell, and I think overall tdM's pretty happy with the exchanging going on.
Yeah, good job by Fisk, always having those counter wards up and ready to go. And, I mean, it's very easy kills if you just keep those along with you. I mean, yeah, Keep the Forest, he's a strength hero, but he very easily can be killed. It's not, other than his ultimate, he doesn't really have an escape mechanism if you have vision of him. He just kind of runs away. So they all obviously had the means to kill him, and with that counter word from Fitske, it was very easy to do so.
Soul Screaming sitting on a Master of Arms here. He does have enough for the Energizer, I believe. I mean, he has 1,800, nearly 1,900 gold, so I definitely think he does. But not going to be going for that at least just yet, and maybe not this game. We usually see Slicks on the Master of Arms go for it, but perhaps something different this time around. The Portal Key has been on Swinnemelons now for a little bit. In fact, his farm continues to be really up there, 422 gold per minute now. Continuing to be tops in the game, but obviously you look back at the overall Legion team items, and in fact here we go yet again, keeping up the pressure. Balfagor already up top here, leading the way. Ophelia, Demented Shaman joining the party, and Torturer / Wretched Hag. They are also making their way up here, as even tableting over the ledge right there to get up. So this tower, it's going to fall. We have now all outer towers destroyed in favor. I'm not sure what that was about. Making a comment about something, but
I couldn't see either, but they're going to push into the high ground. They're going to push into the base. I think this might honestly be a little hasty, but all the outer towers are dead. We'll have to wait and see if this is the right decision. Yeah,
again, you could argue maybe wait for a couple more core items, but no, going to go for at least something right now. Goose put down already the Ophelia Hill coming out, so this could be the timing now for the Hellborn team to try to make something happen. Not having to worry about that burst heal necessarily. Sure, they got Demented Shaman still, but Balfagor now, he's in the front lines again. He ain't too worried about being jumped on. If anything, that's what they want, so he's still going to kind of just hold his ground here, go back into the tower. It seems like, though, the creep wave has been cleared out, and while this is happening, Keeper of the Forest is counter-pushing the bottom lane.
Yeah.
So, again, that's something else that you really got to look at here, and whether or not this is the smartest thing to be doing right now for tdM.
It's unfortunate that Keeper doesn't have a Ring of the Teacher. He could be pushing this just a little bit faster. There is TP support coming out in the bottom lane, though. It's going to be Wretched Hag, so they're conceding this push. And yeah, I don't think they have the means just yet to really push into the high ground fully yet. Yeah. I think it would have been a little bit dangerous. Also, with a very premature heal coming out from Minot's, I gotta say. I mean, yeah, he had the intention of saving his creeps, but it didn't really save them, as they died shortly after that anyway. Well, actually, I think he maybe just took over a couple more right there. But they were, if anything, they were taking a lot of damage and it just seemed kind of awkward. But I think the biggest thing, and I've said this before, is when you're a pushing team and you have some gold being hoarded up by a couple different heroes, you need to spend every penny. You need to spend every penny onto some core items, perhaps a barrier idol next in the works, or maybe Ophelia, or they need a bulwark also. Bulwark would be fantastic for their team too. So spend every bit of gold, and then look to push a second time.
Shaman's Headdress finished on Balfagor, so there's definitely that barrier idol route going to be coming out for him.
Yeah.
Eventually, you talked about the Bulwark. I would not be surprised to see Ophelia get that once she hits that 2,000 gold mark as well, as that is coming up. Energizer was eventually purchased by Master of Arms. He was pulling up plenty of gold, but he does eventually purchase that. He already has another 1,500. Abyssal Skull is actually going to be picked up by Ophelia. Again, that's another item that obviously is powerful too, so nothing wrong with that. Wretched Hag actually chasing Deadwood down near the bottom lane. Bad Blast going to come out. Even Deadwood's in a lot of trouble. Defense and Master's Call, though, coming out. He gets some mana back and actually going for the counter kill. No, he has a Falcon Punch, but Wretched Hag doing an excellent job of kiting right here. The support coming over from Keeper and whatnot, but it's just not in time. And Zai gets a solo kill onto Deadwood right there, even before he has the Hellflower. So, well played by Zai. Taken out against Swinnemelons, who's had been even tops in the game in GPM for most of it. Is going to start slowing down a little bit after that death.
Yeah, well, top GPM now after that goes to Zai, 425 gold per minute. He's 4-0-0. And I got to say, too, with this pushing style lineup that tdM has, I really like the Hag pickup. I think that a lot of times in push style lineups, you lack a lot of mobility because you have to push up as 5, right? And you're always clumped up. And sometimes you lack that initiation or lack that mobility. Well, Hag has all of that.
Yeah.
So I like the way that Hag is placed in this lineup. And he was picked first, too. So it makes you wonder if they had this in mind. They picked their heroes pretty quickly on tdM during the drafting phase. So I like their lineup in general.
That's a good point. Yeah, he was first picked. So it was a snap pick too, from what I remember. I didn't really put any thought into it, at least going into that stage, and then the fairly quick DS Balfagor after that. So perhaps it was the idea in mind from the beginning from Trademark Esports. So for now, again, getting those key items, that barrier idol especially for me is the one that's standing out. So getting closer and closer to that. Wretched Hag, of course, finishing his own Hellflower, which I assume. Oh, actually, yeah, Minot's starting to feel it. He gets caught out. I was up here, but I just didn't see that portion of the jungle apparently. But Rowling and Deadwood coming together to take out Ophelia. So he definitely gladly will take the picks here when they can get them. Master Farms in the meantime, also you can't forget about him. I mean, he is also farming very well himself. 262 gold per minute against Slicks, especially in this Master Farms. He can put out the damage. You know what? I'm gonna put this out there. It seems like to me. I know he doesn't like to go that Thunderclaw route, but it seems like this game especially, Thunderclaw would actually be a very powerful choice on Master of Arms because of all the push. Come on, Trelf, agree with me.
I don't know. The reason is there's so many minions. Like there's a ton of minions. I know the idea.
So there's too many then. Is
yeah,
what you're saying.
I know the idea is there because like it'll help us counter push a little bit more, and I can see that, but I just don't think it's gonna hurt the heroes enough. But I mean, it's a valid point, and I'm all for Charge Chamber. But to be honest, I like the old one a lot better. I like the random factor.
Yeah.
I mean, you can also say like, yeah, well he gets a guaranteed one and he's attacking so fast. But also, what if he had the random factor of hitting like every single time, like with his rapid fire?
Yes. Again, in the end, it is RNG versus sustained. You know, it will happen this many times. I mean, again, that's something you could argue about for days.
I know.
In the end, but okay, so yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, well, I think just overall the item pickups here for SG just need to be honestly stay alive. Really, I mean
stay alive items. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone get a helm.
Just exactly. Well, yeah, just stay in these team fights and just do whatever you can to counter push. Now the thing is that's scary about that is Wretched Hag is the hero that's the key to tdM's lineup if the push fails because they will be able to sit back on that late game carry of Wretched Hag.
That's a great point. I mean, we're so used to seeing push lineups it's all in that sense. But no, I mean the Wretched Hag and on top of all that, he has the best farm in the game. So yeah, by all means, Trademark Esports really is in a solid spot here. Now, Balfagor still hasn't been able to pick up that barrier idol just yet. He's getting fairly close. Okay, it is going to be Nullfire Blade here for Master of Arms. I feel like it's actually been a little bit since we've seen that on him. It used to be his go-to when he first started picking up this hero's carry. But anyways, he has it now. Again, you look at the possibilities of being able to purge and whatnot. There's definitely plenty there. So
I like it a lot,
yeah.
Especially against Balfagor, who has a relatively low mana pool. So if you get that level 2 Nullfire Blade up onto Slicks, and you just rapid fire all that mana down, it's going to be very effective. Now his ultimate costs right now 150 mana for Balfagor. The only thing is I would really like to see him actually upgrade that power supply. I normally never say this, especially for strength heroes, but because it doesn't give you the 15 charges over 10, that's what's going to give you the ultimate there. So
true.
Actually, it's 15. It's actually more mana per charge, so it will be exactly the amount.
Yeah.
If he has the 10 charges.
Yeah, so the mana rider actually should be enough.
But even then, you'd still want a little bit of extra mana to perhaps cast something
yeah,
else
it's not like it's a huge investment, of course. He does finish the barrier idol, though, and that's definitely the big item that they were looking for, I'm sure. They also have another Ring of Sorcery on the courier going to Ophelia, looks like. So is that their first one, actually? Oh, wow, it is their first one. I just assumed they already had one, to be honest.
What's this?
The Ring of Sorcery. It's going to be delivered now. So they haven't had one yet, but I thought maybe even on Torture or somebody else. But no, they are going to get it nonetheless. So they will have that.
Well, that will solve the mana problem for Balfagor.
Exactly. And then, like I said, the barrier idol coming too. So it seems like tdM, they too agree. I mean, this is that time. Feeling pretty good, and we're going to go ahead and push. Shaman Cedrus just purchased on Keeper, by the way, here on the Hellborn side. And then actually Soul's Bulwark picked up already on a Rally. So getting ready to kind of fight this in that sense. And Arcana on a Deadwood. Here we go. The barrier idol push. Rotten Grass going to land there. Just look at that creep clearing coming out here on the Hellborn side. Definitely pretty damn quick. Now the tower was already fairly low, so it's dropping pretty quickly here. Invulnerability coming out. Balfagor sitting in the front lines. He's already starting to gather up some charges. Demonic Pathogen being spread around. Not going to initiate fully, but they do get the tower nonetheless. But of course, Arax, that's the big key right here. That's what they're really looking for. So Balfagor is actually going to follow back, as is Stay Green as a team, or Trademark Esports, excuse me. And they're going to be fine with that, it looks like. Going to clear up the jungle here.
They're waiting for cooldowns, namely the barrier idol. So, I mean, they actually still cut through that barrier idol, but they manned up through it, tdM that is. They manned up for that tower, and they weren't scared. And they eventually got that tower, and that's going to be good for them. And I think they can just wait for maybe, honestly, a couple more item pickups, honestly. Like, Torture has another 1,800 gold, could be working for a Shrunken Head himself, and about 1,100 gold for him. And then maybe maybe a similar situation there for Zai.
Yeah. Yeah, it really keeps going back to the fact that in most push lineups, sure, they might need to resort to just kind of going all in again, but you have a Wretched Hag who's having great farm. You could definitely fall back on her, if anything. So definitely you can you see where tdM's coming from as far as the decision not to really force themselves into the base by any means. But they are going to regroup, and Barrier Idol is, of course, up once again here for Balfagor. Not going to use it just yet, or maybe on this creep wave, actually. But no, I'm not going to use it. Keeper of the Force was charging in right there, as was Deadwood, but don't get anything of it. So they were trying to catch them off guard. Here we go. The Barrier Idol push is now active in favor of tdM. Will this actually work out? Demonic Pathogen on a Master of Arms. He'll be fine, though. The Rax just melts away, though. So SG not committing to any sort of initiation there. And in a sense, kind of just letting their Melee Rex fall, and tdM happy with that, obviously.
I mean, they died so fast that they couldn't make a collective decision on their team as to who to go on or what to do because they just died that quickly.
Ultimate was used by Deadwood, by the way. You can see that.
Yeah.
I don't even know who used
I mean,
it
I saw
on.
them flanking him underneath, but I didn't see anything being used. Obviously, it did, so I missed that too.
Yeah. Maybe that was a little bit earlier also because it was on a little bit on. Anyways.
Could it have actually been on Wretched Hag with an illusion? She has another one up.
That's possible, yeah.
Could have been.
That's possible. Just missed that one on camera. So, yeah, again, they get the melee racks, as you talked about. It was a case of stay green of, we want to go in, do we not want to go in? And before you know it, split-second decision not made, and your Rax is dead. So he pretty much went with the Rax dying. tdM, as they definitely comfortably can, they fall back after that. So stay green, they're kind of grouping up themselves though, and we know they love to try to Ninja Kongor, and I could definitely see that perhaps being attempted here. Now there's a Ward of Sight actually just about to wear off from Fitsuke, by the way. That is very, very close, down to about 5 seconds now before it's gone. And even with that, though, I don't think it actually spots all the way to the Kongor pit. So, in fact, there you go. It is going to go away. And now Kongor dropping fairly quickly. Offensive Storm Cloud, though, coming out, and that'll be the cue for Stay Green to get the hell on out of there. So, the Ninja Kongor attempt unsuccessful, and they will have to fall back for now, unfortunately.
Yeah, and in the meantime, your Rax are actually, your range Rax up top are getting pressure. They might look to go for a fight right about now.
Yeah, they do. Here we go. We're going to see some type of initiation. Keeper of the Force running in. Is he going to root Jesse? I know he's going to be locked down. The silence on him, actually. And he's still being locked down. The root finally coming out. Deadwood in the front gun. Still somehow alive. The Unbreakable on Ophelia right there. Down goes Demented Shaman. Master of Arms in the background doing plenty of damage, actually. And Balfour cannot get the ultimate off because of the mana drain, but the Hellfire and Rally, he will eventually fall. The only survivors are Engineer Balfour, or Master of Arms, excuse me, and they're just going to fall back to base. So Trademark Esports definitely winning that fight. A 3-for-1 exchange, and that's how it'll end. Now we'll see where they push. It looks like they are going to now try to take advantage of pushing into the base here.
Yeah, we're going to see buyouts, though. Deadwood's going to have to buy out right now, or, yeah, there he goes. But the damage is already going to be done.
Right, Grasp, it will not connect any heroes. As you said, the damage already done. Deadwood not going to go further in. And tdM will be happy with that. In the meantime, of course, the top lane also continuing to be pressured. And that will have to be cleaned up by Stay Green. So again, that worked out beautifully for Trademark Esports. That started kind of awkward. I mean, Keeper and Rally, they were kind of up there. But they're the ones that got caught first, actually.
I think Keeper took way too long to use the ultimate. I think Swindlemelons, he was getting ready. He was like probably saying go, 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 and Keeper just was waiting way too long. By the time Swindlemelons actually jumped in, he was health out, I think, right away. He still managed to get his punch off, but also the Bat Blast hit like almost everybody. Yeah. And it's simply because look at the area that they were fighting in. Like they were all in this like very, very tight, closed quarters area. And that is not typically where you want to fight unless you burst someone down very, very fast. But like I said, Jesse was waiting way too long with that ultimate, I feel.
How about this? Geometer's Bane on a Wretched Hag. Not an item we see too often, but what do you think about that? Is that actually a pickup that you agree with?
Well, honestly, there's a number of things with it. You can get out of the Keeper of the Force ultimate.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is like you're thinking, okay, well, Shrunken Head, I can get out of the in and out of the Engineer ultimate. The Keeper ultimate, I think it's to just joint quickly as the Deadwood tries to punch you. So he jumps in, you pop the Geometers. It's different than popping a Shrunken and the punch still goes through.
Of course,
this is going to disorient him a little bit.
Now, Stay Green, they're trying to rinse and repeat here. They still want to go back in. The root is back up. Deadwood right on top. Do they have a bound eye?
Oh, no.
They do not, but they probably spot something now. Yes, they do. He jumps in. He says, screw it, I'm going in. Torch are going to be the target of Torch. He's easily going to stay alive. The Balfagor with the ultimate in the background. Not the most charges, though, but Deadwood's dead right off the bat. The offensive Storm Cloud also being used. Rally realizing quickly he's in no man's land, trying to get away. Bat Blast from behind, takes out Master of Arms. Rally's in some trouble, and Trademark Esports, it looks like it is going to be official. They're going to take this game number 3, and as a result, they will take the series 3-1 and once again be cycle champion. So here we are in cycle number 5, officially wrapping up. And 4 out of the 5 cycles now belong to Trademark Esports, Trev.
Yep.
This team they're damn good, man.
They have a lot of points now and a lot of extra cash.
Yeah.
Spent on both coins, eh?
There you go.
No, Zai, he played fantastically this game, and to be honest, you know, and I love the guy, he didn't really play that well the first game, and even took him some time to warm up in the second game, but he got up to speed, and he really performed well, especially in this last game. I mean, ending the game 7-0-3 with the top farm in the game as the Suicide Wretched Hag, who was getting heavily out-CS'd simply because of the matchup of him versus Deadwood, but was roaming around, found some good ganks, and just played great from start to finish, as the entire team did this entire series.
It really was just again, both teams played it very, very well. You really love to see this matchup here of tdM versus Stay Green. Just because you can expect that, and they showed that here once again here today, just like they showed in Cycle 4, and they've been doing so much recently. So again, these two teams right now, number 1 and 2, tdM number 1, no doubt, and then Stay Green number 2. So they'll even get further ahead here as a result of this victory over Stay Green, and they're in a good spot, to say the least.
Yeah.
they're sitting pretty comfortable now at the number 1 spot, and you know, I think it's safe to say at this, I mean, there's still 3 more cycles to go, so there's still plenty of HoN Tour left before the grand finals even. There really is. So you can't get too ahead of yourselves, but you know, pending some crazy bad results from tdM here these next couple of cycles, they're looking pretty good to secure a number 1 spot going into the grand finals, and obviously that'll set up beautifully for them. So they got to be feeling really good, to say the least. Stay Green, just like tdM's comfortable number 1, Stay Green honestly is pretty comfortable number 2 themselves.
Yeah, and you still get a hefty number of points finishing second as well. Was it 2,500?
Yeah, exactly. So 2,500 points in dollars. So again, big congratulations to tdM. They are officially your Cycle 5 champions. And as always, a lot of fun to watch here in the grand finals. So, but on top of that, obviously, with cycle number 5 now wrapping up, that means that was your final cast here, Trev.
Yeah.
Here on HoNcast, and I gotta go ahead and get a hug from you on camera here. It was a lot of fun. The awkward hug moment. There's going to be plenty of those out there. No, it really has been a blast, though. Obviously, you know, we've already talked about this. We've already, you know, on the forum posts and everything, it's just been a great learning experience for myself. I mean, I think it's safe to say, and hopefully it's showing on the stream and everything, that I've learned so much myself. I really have. I think I've become a much better HoN, you know, knowledge person myself from you being on, and
I think so too. I think so too.
Thank you, and you've become a better looking person, you know, with me being here too. So
it's just the style rubs off on me.
exactly. No, but it's really been a pleasure. I know, again, HoNcast will move on, of course, but at the same time, it is going to be difficult to replace you.
Yeah.
And I do wish you the best of luck though with your HoN career.
Thank you.
And no matter your career in general, of course. Yeah. So it is going to be cool, though, watching you play once again. Definitely looking forward to that at the very least. So in a sense, it's not like we're saying an official goodbye by any means. Still going to be around, and, you know, still pop on for some interviews here and there.
Hell, why not?
Exactly. So, but anyways, any final words you want to say, man?
Well, it's been awesome casting with you, man. It's been a lot of fun. I just love the environment here.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, actually I thought for the longest time that coming here casting, I would lose a lot of my skill, honestly, in playing. Because you spectate so many games, and spectating games are so different than actually playing it. And, you know, I do know that a lot of myself, especially when I was casting in the beginning, I know I was pretty damn harsh on a lot of the players, too. Because it is different when you're spectating. You see a lot, you see a lot more, but you also miss a lot of things.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I learned, too, is, you know, it's easy for the spectators when you're with 8,000 other people saying, they missed it, he did it 5 minutes ago.
And everyone's pointing it out, and
you're like, dude, I'm looking at like 18,000 different things, so it's a lot harder to do things up here than you guys really realize, so big credit to this guy over here.
Thank you.
You can follow him at BreakyCPK.
Well, there you go. nice shout out right there. No, but
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that I learned a lot, but I thought that, you know, it would actually hinder my skill, but actually, you know, because I see so much of what's going on, it actually helps even from a drafting transition, or drafting position.
You know, I know a lot of people out there have kind of been wondering about that, how you're ultimately going to, in a sense, maybe that has value to you, you know, because you see so many teams on it so often, obviously as a spectator, and how teams draft, and, you know, getting all this information. So I'm sure that is going to help you. You know, as great as your players you already were. Even better. So again, it's going to be a lot of fun watching you in the end as a player. But that is officially going to wrap it up for that. Again, as far as HoNcast continuing, guys, as I keep stressing, I mean, we're coming back tomorrow. We're coming back tomorrow, of course, with the GSL event. That, of course, the event ultimately for Thailand. The qualifiers for that, the first qualifiers, it is, does start tomorrow. That's actually at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. I want to say 2200 Central European Time. Who's going to be my co-caster? Well, you'll have to find out tomorrow. Again, nothing's official just yet. We are in the looks now for the replacement for Trelf, as tough as that is going to be again. But you know, expect several co-casters over the next couple of weeks, to say the least, here on HoNcast. You know, we're going to kind of dabble with that. You know, have some fun and kind of go old school in that sense. But eventually down the line, we will be picking up a new full-time co-caster, of course. So, yes, Killer Orange. He wants to say something.
Yeah, I just want to say, hey, Trelf, it's been great having you. You guys together are one of the greatest casting teams I've ever seen, and having the pleasure to work with you has been absolutely phenomenal. I know you bring a lot of analysis and all that, you know, professional insight to the cast, but you also bring a lot of fun, and you've been a great guy to work with, and I hope you have a lot of luck and do well in the future, my friend. So,
whatever.
Well, thank you.
Whatever you may do.
Thank you, man.
So yeah, that was, of course, Killer Orange, the man behind the voice that you never get to see and you never will see. But
he's the Wizard of Oz
yeah.
of HoNcast.
Exactly, the professor back there. No, but yeah, again, definitely to reiterate that, it's been a lot of fun and getting emotional in here, but that was expected, man. That was expected. No. We got to wrap things up, though. It is officially over here for today for Cycle number 5 for it all. And again, thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a blast. But again, HoNcast will be continuing as soon as tomorrow with the GSL event. So one last time, congrats to tdM. I want to let you sign off, Trelf. You want to do the sign off here?
You can follow this guy at BreakyCPK.
This guy at Trelf HoN.
And will be more action.
Almost.
More HoN action coming at you tomorrow with the GSL Thailand qualifiers at times that I will never get right, so I'll let you say them really quickly.
1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, 2200 Central European Time, where we perhaps may even see you play in, by the way, in the GS event. We'll see how that goes. So, again, best of luck to you. It's been fun. Until next time, though, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow here on HoNcast. Trelf, we'll see you in the game.
Yep.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. Something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.